All right. So I know it's been a long time since we've done any type of like collab videos. And I got a big one for y'all, man. I know that y'all love the collabs I put together. So today I wanted to do kind of a retrospective because last year I did a big video with a bunch of people on it and talked about the end of Wano. What would happen at the end of Wano? I don't know if the video is still on my channel or not because Toei was being weird. It might still be there. I'm honestly not sure. But anyways, today we have an awesome video with a bunch of awesome guests. So strap in and listen to these conversations as I ask my One Piece friends, my YouTube buddies, how did they feel Wano is going to end? We got the homie BDA Law. Now, unfortunately, me and BDA didn't have time to sit down and chop it up person to person. Also, Roger's base was a little busy, so he had to send me a recording as well, which is fine. But even though me and Brago didn't get to sit down, he sent me over a recording, man. Appreciate you, Brago. Make sure that y'all check Brago out as well. I'm excited to hear his takes.
Okay, I have been tasked with telling you guys how I think Wano will end. Now, things have changed considerably from the last time I think I thought about this, but at this point, it is a bit clearer than before, but still up in the air. There's still a lot of things that have to happen, a lot of people that would have to fall. I mean, the two Yonko, they're still upright, right? And Big Mom, she just got bigger somewhat. And Kaido, he's still fighting Luffy. Now, some people have been complaining about Luffy and how he's fighting Kaido currently in the base form, but I think this could be an indication that Kaido has another form to go. However, that's a tangent. We are here to talk about how Wano ends. So Kaido falls, Big Mom falls, CP0, they're stumped by someone else. They don't leave with Nico Robin or King or somebody else. What happens? Well, I think someone else has to come to the island, right? I think someone else has to come and step in. I do think Vegapunk makes an appearance at the end of Wano for sure. I think that's just something that's been hinted throughout, but also I think there has to be a moment where we get some Joy Boy stuff, right? We have some fulfillment of prophecy where either through another character or somebody brings out some information for Luffy to know exactly where we're going next or what's next on the slate. I think Wano has to be a culmination because Wano is, I think, a city that has been hidden away for the most part because it has a lot of secrets, and Luffy defeating Kaido in whatever way is going to unlock a lot of those secrets. And so in Wano, we need somewhat of a moment of them coming together and figuring out exactly, again, what's happening next. At the end of Wano, obviously we're gonna have the transitional chapters updating us as to what's going on with Sabo, Hancock, Mihawk, all that different stuff. But I also think we see Weevil shortly after. Weevil has not been a prominent character in the story, even though he has prominent ties, we think, because he's supposed to be the son of Whitebeard, but we think he's lying. So he has to be implemented in some way. And shortly after, we will see Blackbeard and get a gist of what he's up to. I do think Shanks could be incorporated here. I think mostly because of Film Red and how it's coming next fall, I believe. So I feel like at some point next year when Wano is ending, we will see Shanks. Either he'll be in Wano or they'll be on the way there and they'll run into him, but Luffy will be meeting Shanks pretty soon. Ultimately, I think Wano ends with Kaido's defeat. Personally, I still think Big Mom gets taken out through some other means. I would love for Kid to get the W, but it's just Big Mom. It's fortunate and unfortunate for her because she's such a klutz, and Oda uses her in those situations, so I want Kid to get the W, Kid or Law, either of them, but I think something else happens. The crazy theory is that Katakuri steps out of the mirror world and pulls Big Mom in, and then they get away, but I don't think that happens at all. Something else has to happen though. Somebody has to step up or step in for CP0 to basically halt their assault, okay? And the only characters that I think can do that would either be Shanks or the Revolutionaries. So either of those characters, those factions will be making an appearance. And I do think we get a glimpse of SSG as well. We don't see them quite in action. We get a glimpse, but I do think we see someone or a few individuals that are members of SSG. So Wano ends with Kaido's defeat, Big Mom's defeat, a culmination of information because Wano, that's what it's been from the beginning. It is a promised city. And so it's very important to Luffy's journey. So I think this is something that definitely has to happen. And Oda did say there will be a surprise at the end. People are saying it's going to be a party. Why the hell would a party be a surprise? It's a party. That's what we expect. Something else has to happen. Personally, I believe it'll be a huge revelation and I really can't wait. But guys, give me your thoughts. I'm sorry, I'm about to go into my spiel. Thank you so much for having me, Sin. That's about it. You guys take care.
All right, next up, speaking of people that had to send me over recordings, let's go ahead and get Roger's bases out of the way as well. He sent me a recording. He was a little bit too busy, so we couldn't chop it up one-on-one. However, he is here with a recording, and this is what Roger Base thinks.
All right, so as for my thoughts on how I think Wano's going to end at this point, I think Luffy's going to beat Kaido. We're going to have a big party at the end, and we're going to go on to the next story arc. I feel like that's all there is to say. I feel like we've been debating this topic for so long at this point, and like, will the raid end in failure? You know, are they actually going to beat Kaido? It's pretty clear to me now, based on everything that Oda and the editors have said, and based on the recent chapters where now, you know, King and Queen have been taken out. That's what we got, man. We have Luffy versus Kaido. Luffy's going to beat Kaido. There's going to be a big party at the end of the arc. We're going to find out a bunch of information about like the world at large. People are going to see Luffy now as like this big power within the world, and things are going to change. I mean, that's kind of all there is at this point. We are nearing the final saga of One Piece. We are close to the ending. We're going to get to Laugh Tale. We've got a lot of other story arcs probably still to come within the next 5 years, but that's it. And I'm ready for that now. I feel like, you know, Wano Country, midway through, I was like, okay, well, maybe Luffy's going to get defeated, and then the act's going to end, and then we're going to have Act 4, and it's going to be the fight against the Calamities, and then the fight against Luffy and Kaido. Then Act 5 is going to be the denouement, and now it's like, I don't know, Act 3's been going on for so long. We're finally entering Luffy versus Kaido. Part of me even thinks maybe Luffy versus Kaido is going to be in Act 3, and that Act 4 is just going to be the denouement of the story. Or we're going to get, you know, all of Act 4 focused on Luffy versus Kaido, and that epic moment of, you know, the adult Momonosuke holding on to the crashing Onigashima above the fire festival and saving the rest of the people, and the people having that parallel between Oden holding the scabbards on his back, and then now, you know, Momo holding up Onigashima. But, I mean, really, that's about it. I'm more excited for what's going to happen after Wano is over, really, than I am for the conclusion of Wano Country itself. I'm excited to see how Oda is going to wrap up the Luffy and Kaido fight, because we've been waiting for it for all these years, and I'm excited to see the lore dump that's going to happen at the end of Wano. But I would be lying to you if I said like I was most excited in 2022 for how Wano was going to end, and not more excited for what I think is to come moving into the final saga of One Piece.
All right, interesting. So next up, we got the homie Cole. Now, me and Cole did get to sit down. I love talking to Cole. It's always a pleasure. It's always fun. Me and Cole had a good conversation, and he had, you know, some cool things to say. Y'all Zoro guys might want to listen in, you feel me? He threw y'all a bone. I ain't gonna lie, you feel me? But me and Cole got to sit down, and this is what we said.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Sensei Ink. Here with a very special guest today, man. Got the homie King of Lightning in the building. What's going on, bro?
Good. How we doing? You signature right there.
Hey, for sure, man. Hey, man. So King, I just talked to him a little bit before we hit record. Told him the premise of the video. Today, I am asking the homies how they think Wano are going. Today, I'm asking the homies how I think Wano was going to end. If y'all remember, last year I did a video with the same kind of premise, same topic. I'm going to try to compare and contrast old opinions and see if they've changed any with the new opinions of what we've seen over the last year in the One Piece manga. So Cole, with what you've seen from chapter 1000 up until 1035, how do you feel about Wano now? How do you see things ending? You can answer this however you want. Kaido and Luffy outcome, of course, but if you want to add anything in, what you think is going to happen post their fight, before we move on, things like that.
I think my perspective on Wano when it comes to ending hasn't changed that much. I'm not too sure what I said last year, of course, it's been a year. But what I think is going to happen at this point, let's wait and see. What I think is happening at this point in time is Wano is going to end with Kaido being defeated. I think that Oda may try and play this with Kaido's death in terms of his dream, because his dream, I think, is still to die, and it may be done seppuku-like, because I still think that because the arc started with a chapter called Seppuku, we may get Kaido committing seppuku in some respect, maybe, and then like a scabbard. Even though I want them to die, oh god, I want them to die. They may be the ones to cut off Kaido's head. Maybe the ZKK. Oh, he cuts off Kaido's head in seppuku style. But at the same time, so like we give them a dog bone right there. However, I think ultimately, come the end of Wano, Wano should be liberated. But now we have CP0 coming in, which kind of throws a monkey wrench in the whole thing, right? I'm not too sure if CP0 can actually control all of Wano country at this point in time. I feel like the samurai are still going to fight back against them. And then Big Mom, her pirate crew is still there too, so they may thwart CP, Cypher Pole, the world government coming in there trying to control Wano country. But there's a possibility now where we beat Kaido and then we just have to bail because the government's en route like right now, and then we don't get captured by the government. But I still think that Big Mom is not going down this arc. I still believe that Big Mom is going to go down in the next arc. I believe that Luffy's words still have meaning, where he said, after Kaido, Big Mom, you're next. That should still be happening, without a doubt. And then we should still see, I guess, like the Zoro get the Nyakutetsu sword. That still exists. I don't know why Zoro hasn't gotten that yet. So that should be happening at this point. At the end of the arc, at least. Trading for the Sonic Tetsu. And I mean, outside of that, Sanji, I think the raid suit's still in play, but I'm not too sure at this point in time. I mean, at least that's what I think. I mean, I guess that's really it for like when it comes to the end of Wano, particularly like what should be happening to the island itself. But like the main X factor now is the world government. The world government's coming in.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah, so like because they're coming in, this may mean that we have to bail because the samurai are exhausted from fighting. The beast pirates have submitted, or they're tired from fighting. And I guess the question here would be, would Yamato come with? And I'm all for Yamato coming with. I really am. I'm not against it in the slightest. So I think that'll be how things play out, where like we have to bail from Wano country because the world government comes in, and then Yamato joins the crew. But I would still much rather have the Straw Hats officially make Wano country a territory of theirs, because they saved the country from annihilation from Kaido and Orochi. I would still much rather that, honest to God.
Yeah,
I would want that territory, honestly.
Yeah, I would love that too. I think so. The conversation that the CP0 members have been having basically up to this point is, look, if whoever wins, whatever side wins, we got to intervene immediately and like take over Wano. So do you feel like it's a possibility if they do intervene that we can stop them, or do you think they like we a guarantee have to like run off? Like, do you think there's just no way?
Well, to be fair, they said that if Kaido wins, then they have no reason to try and take it over.
Yeah, for sure.
But if the Straw Hats, if the enemy forces win, then they have to try and take it over.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we've seen this before, where like the Straw Hats have to leave. Like I recall what happened with Dressrosa and Fujitora.
Yeah.
Like there was a few days they had to rest, and then after Fujitora, Whole Cake had a bit. But Whole Cake, they lost per se. Like they actually had
they did lose. They had to leave.
Like, they had no choice but to run.
They had to leave.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like they had to bail. But it's like a Dressrosa. I mean, it's more Dressrosa where like we can rest here for like a few days, and then after the few days you have to bail because world government's coming in with like full force. And then this may be the time where we see the SSG, and then also a lot of folks have been saying that Vegapunk, because remember, Orochi talked about Vegapunk. Vegapunk at some point may come in.
He told him the next time to bring Vegapunk.
Yeah, and then Vegapunk, because I believe that at some point we may actually get a hint about Luffy's awakening for his free power. And then Oda did say, or he did say that Vegapunk is the person that is going to fill us in more about the fruits and like that whole thing. So Vegapunk could be coming in at the end of Wano country, but just how again Orochi mentioned before at the beginning of the arc. So there are various things that were kind of stated or hinted at the beginning of the arc that should come to a head at the end of the arc, but whether we actually like stay in Wano country for a prolonged period of time and we rest because we were so beat and bruised and so on after against these pirates, and or we could actually make Wano country a territory, that's something that seems to be really hard pressed right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Cole. So you're under the assumption Raid doesn't fail, Kaido gets defeated.
No.
I had to ask, man.
Yeah, that ship is sinking. That is going harder than the Titanic. It's already gone.
Shout out my man, Mr. Boars, man.
Yeah, shout out to Moors. But I mean, like, when you have 2 commanders already defeated,
yeah,
you got like this end game scenario that Oda has like triple tap. We have Onigashima is gonna fall on the Flower Capital, and also there are explosives, and also now there's a flaming ghost going that direction trying to light it all up. And so we have like we've triple tapped the end game scenario. The raid is going. Luffy has gotten like 3 or 4 breaks to try and beat Kaido. He's grown so fast, it's haunting. So Kaido is probably going to be defeated by Luffy. For me, at this point, even though it's shocking, like 2 years ago, I wouldn't say that. No, but now it's like, oh, okay, well, okay.
Yeah, the writing's on the wall now. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I figured that if he's defeated, it'll be a team effort thing. Like it'll be like, okay,
that's what I thought.
It'll be the Straw Hats or the Scabbards, like they'll be the one, like the Nines people, like they'll be the ones to defeat Kaido. Luffy right now seems to be going solo, like one-on-one. Like Yamato, Zoro, Sanji, Scabbards, nobody interfere. It's just one-on-one Luffy and Kaido. So now it's like, okay, so, and then Luffy's growing at a really fast rate. But for me, what's important necessarily isn't Kaido per se, it's Big Mom. Because I still want Big Mom and Luffy to have that particular fight go down. Because I think that Big Mom and Luffy be the true indication here, one-on-one clean, to see if see if he's actually on that level. Because I don't think he's going to fight Shanks, because then after Big Mom will probably be Blackbeard.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. Because I don't see who else. Because Luffy's, I mean, maybe some admirals, maybe. Like if they have to go and save Sabo. Because I have a video where I theorize where there's potentially the case where after, instead of going to Elbaf, we go to the Holy Land and we see what's going on there. Because we know that Garp had a message about Vivi and Alabasta. We saw in the anime, I think it was episode 957, 56, where like news spreading about the Shichibukai, and then we see folks where they appear to be in Alabasta, they're crying now. So Cobra's probably dead, and then Sabo, what's going on there, probably got captured, and then all these different things are happening in the world. And I think this is when the Grand Fleet will make its move, because right now Grand Fleet not necessary, clearly, because Tama made that the case, but the Grand Fleet should play a role, I think, outside the Final War, and then them saving Sabo could be the play here before we go to Elbaf. Yeah.
No, for sure. For sure. I could definitely see that situation happening. A lot of people seem to like forget about that stuff, the Sabo, like Reverie stuff. But I think it's because like most people are just excited. They're like, yo, we want to get to Elbaf. What's up with Elbaf? And I get that too. But I could see a scenario in which you're right, in which we have to like dabble into that in between the Elbaf stuff.
Do you think that we spend too much time in Wano country?
We've been here for a while, man.
Longest arc in the series by far.
Yeah, man. Like it's crazy, Cole, because I finished reading One Piece 2 years ago. And when I finished, we just had got down to the Odin flashback, and it's been 2 years after that. And this is where we're at now.
Where has it been 2 years since the Odin flashback?
Bro, when I caught up to One Piece, we were at the beginning of the raid. And I started my YouTube channel on March 13th of 2020. Or I'm sorry, yeah, March 13th of 2020. And we're on our way to being 2 years. So like a year and probably like 8 months. And now we're here.
Wow.
It's so crazy, bro. I think someone told me the other day Wano's been going on for almost going on 4 years, which is insane, man. I've been enjoying it though. I am kind of glad I didn't have to like go through Dressrosa weekly. Everyone always tells me I was dreadful.
Yeah.
So I have to go through that. But yeah, man, I feel like we have been in Wano for a long time. I'm ready for Wano to end now. Not even because it's bad. It's just like, Jesus, like we've been here long as fuck, bro. Like, is what it is. But Cole, man, thank you so much, man, for coming on. Give me your thoughts on how Wano's going to end, man. I'm excited to look back at what you said last year, so I can compare and contrast it. I think it's going to be funny. But it probably is,
honestly. It probably is.
Probably is, man.
I mean, Oda's throwing some monkey wrenches here or there. That's for sure.
For sure, man. For sure. But guys, make sure you check down in the description. Cole's links will be down there, of course. Make sure you go down there, Subscribe to Cole if you haven't. Check out his content. Got awesome content. Also check his Twitch out. Amazing content over there as well, man. Cole, thank you, bro. Appreciate
you, man. No doubt.
All right, man. I hope y'all ZKK people happy with that. You feel me? But next up, though, we got my homie, none other than Tekken 101, the GOAT, man. I have a ton of collabs with Tekken 101. Y'all love these collabs. Y'all always tell me, yo, you and Tekken, you and Tekken. Well, he's back, and he has some cool things to say as well on what he feels like will happen with Wano, but also post Wano.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Sensei Ink. Today we got probably the person I collab with most back on the channel. We got Tekken 101. Tekken, how you doing, bro?
Hey, Sensei, thanks for having me on for, like, I think this is only the second time.
The second, only the second time.
Only the second.
You know, it's not that many times, you know. But back by popular demand, I'm always, and I mean always, hearing from the fans, you and Tekken collabs are the best. Bring
it on. Back. I mean, whenever I'm free, yeah, I'm always up for a Sensei collab, yeah.
Hey, man, for sure. So today we're doing kind of a retrospective, like I told you. Last year we did a video and I asked a bunch of people how I thought, or how they thought, rather, how Wano might end. And we're back a year later. We got chapters 1000 all the way up to 1035 for you. So, well, I think you did read 1036, right?
I did. I read the spoilers and like the scans before I read like the official chapter. But considering it's going to take like an extra 2 weeks, and I thought, you know what, let's just get it out now. Yeah,
for sure, for sure. So yeah, up to 1036. With that being, you know, the case, we have 36 chapters from last year when we did this video. The question is, how do you think now Wano might end? Of course, Luffy, Kaido's fight. But now we have like CP0, they've showed up, which is something new from last year. And also, like, has your mind on post Wano things changed now that the world government is involved?
So actually, I just did a video earlier today about like what the Straw Hats might do after Wano, and it's like they might just go to Marie Joie and like, you know, because like the thing with Sabo and Vivi and like some other stuff might get involved there. I did a collab with Brago where we talked about that. I would love them to go to Marie Joie, but I don't know. And since the world government's involved now, but overall, in terms of Wano, like, I was under the impression that Wano, like the battles like we had, might go until about halfway through 2022. But from the last chapter and the recap that we kind of had that Oda gave us of like where we're at right now with the fights, we pretty much just have Luffy and Kaido, and the Cypher Pool are still doing stuff, and then Law, Kid, and Big Mom. So I'm thinking the fights might actually all be wrapped up maybe February, March of this year. Like it might be relatively earlier in the year, and we'll still have some Wano after that, like the wrap up. But then it gets to the whole thing with like the world government surrounding the place, and you know, that's going to throw a wrench into the way that an arc is usually wrapped up nice and tidy, with the Straw Hats defeating the main enemy, having a big celebration, and then like sailing off into the distance. Now with the government, it might be a much more difficult way to finish off the arc. They might have to like just escape as fast as they can.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Mary Joy's plot line is great. There's this TikToker that I watch. Well, I don't watch him, but he always pops up on my For You page. And I've been scrolling TikTok a lot lately, man. TikTok's really fun.
Wow, I never had TikTok. I never got it. Yeah,
it's fun, man. It's like YouTube Shorts, but it's just like on a different platform, really. But there's this TikToker talking that he does like these fan skits, right? And he has like a continuing plot. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. I'll try to find him for you guys in the comments if you're interested, and put his link down there with everyone else's. But he does these like fan skits, Tekken, where he does like a I guess fanfics where he started after Wano, and he has these little skits like Shanks coming to Laugh Tale, and Blackbeard's already there waiting for Luffy, but Shanks shows up first, and he does this thing where it's like Akainu getting reported that Luffy's beat Big Mom and Kaido. Like it's like a skit, like how Akainu would react, cool. And then he connects it with like Akainu has Sabo with him, and Luffy finds out about it in one of the skits, and he's really, you know, mad about it, and like he goes like through these, and each skit is like a continuation.
Well, that's
and it's
cool. It's like a fanfic, but in like a TikTok short kind of
yeah,
format. That's
it's
neat.
really
That's
cool.
Yeah.
And he does like these like effects on his voices and stuff for like Blackbeard and like all these different characters. And the one of them in the plot line I brought him up is because of the video we're talking about is Luffy going straight to Mary Joyce. And there's this really cool moment in one of the skits where Luffy calls up Bart, and Luffy's ticked off. Bart, you know, of course, loves Luffy, so as soon as the snail spawner rings and he picks it up, Bart's like, "Oh, Luffy," and Luffy cuts him off, and he's like, "No, Bart," like, and he has this like serious moment where he just and Luffy just goes, "Mary Joyce, 3 days," and hangs up. And I was like, "Oh man, that's crazy!" Like
that would be so cool.
Like I'm like, bro, I'm just thinking about it, bro, and I'm just like, "Oh man,"
this is like the video I made is gonna be like 2, maybe 3 parts long, because like this is the first part just to talk about how they would even get to Marie Joie, of how like hard it is, and I didn't even consider the fleet, and I'm like, oh my god, but. Yeah, I know it's like a lot of people are like, well, wouldn't that be kind of like Marineford like version 2 or like Impel Down all over again or whatever? And I'm like, kind of, and it's like. There's so much important plot lines at Marie Joie with the Gorosei and with the Reverie just wrapping up and everything happening right there. I'm like, I want the Straw Hats to go there. I mean, like, and I don't want it to just be like an end of series kind of thing. Like, I want them to go there and interact. Like, I want Robin to meet like Eam or the Gorosei or something. Like, that would be so cool. You know?
Yeah, man. Oh man, you got me thinking about it a lot now, and I'm just like,
it's great.
It would be so awesome because like this time. Like it would be like a kind of like a flashback to Marineford where you have that one scene, that like infamous scene where Luffy first arrives and he's in front of the 3 admirals, and it's like, but this time if Luffy like then when he was there, it's like he's just not ready. He's just around a bunch of monsters and he just But this time, if he goes, like I feel like he's ready to go.
He might have like not just his own crew, but he might have the revolutionaries like Dragon and everybody helping him out. This is going to be like you know how Mr. Moorish has the raid will fail thing that's been going on for like 3 years. This is going to be my version of that, where it's just like they're going to Marie Joie after Wano. I will die on this hill.
Hey man,
you know, like that is how it will go.
Well, I'm all with that one. I wasn't a fan of the raid failing. No offense, Mr. Board. You're still the GOAT. You're still the GOAT. But
I'll be honest with you. Like if it happens, like kudos to Oda, and I guess kudos to Morge as well for guessing it. I think just the way it's going, like Luffy will just defeat Kaido, and
for sure.
The end of it will be a little bit different, but overall the raid won't fail. But that's just my take on it. But if it happens, I'll be like, all right, I was wrong. Shit.
Yeah, exactly. You know? No, if it happens at this point, I will give a personal,
if this happens at this point, I will make a video where I bake a cake. Like a 3-hour video where I bake a cake that just says "You were right, Mr. Morge."
Yo, you gotta
mail him the cake.
You've heard it here first. Tekken, you gotta bake a cake now if this happens.
Now
man.
I have to make a cake.
You said it here. You said it here. So no, I like I'm gonna give him all the credit in the world, man. If he cold called it like that, I mean, it is what it is. But
I think it'll be coming maybe halfway through 2022. We might be getting the end of Wano, so we'll find out this year.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking like April, May, June, like around there.
That'll be about. Can you believe Wano started in June of 2018? We're almost 4 years into this already.
I actually can believe it, Tekken, because when I first started my YouTube channel in March 13th is when I made my first video of 2020. When I caught up to One Piece around that time, we were just starting the raid. Like, and here we are almost 2 years later.
Yeah, literally, like your YouTube career is this. Like, there you go, right?
It's all of Wano. So it's just crazy to think about, man. And I always hear people talk about how long Dressrosa was, and Wano's past that. So
I started doing anime reviews on YouTube when they got to Fishman Island.
Yeah, man, you've been around. Y'all been around for so long, man.
Yeah, but when it comes to the end, it's gonna be quick this year, and I think it's just the only thing that's like a variable for me is how they're gonna handle the government situation.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering about, because it's like, do they stop them? I think, who was it that I was talking to? Cole. I was talking to Cole. I was recording with him, and he thinks that it's a possibility that they'll just have to retreat, like, because he brought up a point. The world government was saying if Luffy and his side somehow win, that we have to take Wano immediately. And he was like, he thinks it might be a possibility where once they defeat Kaido And if Big Mom gets defeated or if she retreats or whatever she's going to do, they'll have to run because they won't be in the right circumstance to fight back because Sanji's out of commission. You got Zoro out of commission. What it looks like. His pill's going to kick in anytime now. Like, I
think it's dramatically going to. I think it might have already kicked in because we saw him last chapter. He kind of passed out. So just like that's done. He's done. He's not getting.
I don't think he's getting back up either. I mean, and no one's in really good shape right now. And the Straw Hats that are in decent shape are the weaker ones. So it's like I don't know, man. I don't know if they have it in them to be able to get done fighting Kaido and King and Queen and all these people and then still combat the world government. It'd be tough to see. But do you think that and I'll ask, this will be your last question, do you think that Robin gets captured again, or do you think that they get away with Robin?
I wonder if they'll capture Robin, take her back to Marijois, and they have to go there that way. I mean, like, that would be kind of like a complete repeat of Enies Lobby for Robin to be captured. I don't think Oda will go that way with it, even though I want them to go there, and that would be the perfect excuse for them to go there. Although, you know, I could kind of see it happening, like the first time Robin gets captured and she's like, just goes with it because she just doesn't want to live. It would be interesting to see the parallel where if Robin gets captured again by the CP and they take her away, she's super calm about it. And she's like, oh, it doesn't matter because my friends are going to come and save me. And I know they will 100%. So you have no hope of surviving, you know, like that would actually be interesting to see the parallel, but I don't think Oda's going to do that again. Yeah,
nah, I don't think so either. I think if they try to capture her, they'll save Robin right then and there. I don't think it'll be a situation where they get away with Robin either. Because then that's just literally a copy of Enies Lobby.
It is like a legit copy of Enies Lobby, yeah.
There's a lot of parallels with Enies Lobby and Wano, though, that I think are cool. Like the way the fights were set up, the world government being there, the whole Robin thing.
A lot of that coming out of the new world. Like, you know, you got Alabasta, kind of a parallel to Dressrosa, like a general idea there. Like a warlord taking over the country. And then there's like Rebecca is kind of a parallel to Vivi a little bit. And then I heard a lot of comparisons, between Enies Lobby and Wano.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Tekken, thank you so much once again for being on the video.
Thanks for having me. Always
a pleasure. Always. I'll make sure to let you know when it's out so we can see what opinions everyone else has. I've heard a lot of different opinions so far, so I think this is going to be a pretty good video.
I think so too, man.
For sure. Everyone, make sure you check out Tekken's channel link. It'll be down in the description with everyone else's. Make sure you check out all his content. He got that awesome Mary Joyce theory going on. He just brought up, so make sure you go check that out. And thank you, Tekken, for being here, man. Appreciate you.
Have a good one, man.
All right, bro.
All right, man. Next up on the list, man, we got the homie, my guy. I haven't got to talk or collab with him yet, which is crazy, but I'm so glad that he got to come to the channel. And yo, when I tell you he had a stellar answer, yo, his answer was crazy. We got the homie Alter, Library of Ohara, and this is what he had to say about the end of Wano.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Sensei Inc. here today with a special guest, man. First time on the channel. Got the Library of Ohara. We got Alter here. What's going on, man?
Hi.
Yeah, so happy to have you on the channel finally. It's been a while, man. I've been trying to get you on for probably a few months now, so I'm glad that I finally got around to being able to collab with you. Glad you're here.
Happy to be here.
Of course. So, of course, everyone, today's topic is Wano ending. How we see Wano ending. So, Alter, I want to hear from you, your perspective, based on everything we've gotten from chapter 1000 and 1035. How do you see Wano ending? How do you see the Kaido and Luffy fight? You know, post Wano shenanigans, CP0, things like that. How do you see things going?
Well, I think that the question of how Wano will end is maybe a bit redundant because I think it's kind of safe to assume what will be the general conclusion of Wano. Of course, the specifics are kind of hard to see, but generally, I think that, you know, now we pretty much only have the Big Mom and Kaido fights, and, well, of course, Raizo versus Fukurakujo, but, you know, aside from those things, I think that, you know, Luffy will beat Kaido, and he'll open up Wano, and that's mostly it. I don't think there's really anything new or different that we've seen so far that should suggest that things are going to be very different. Like, I don't think that the raid is going to fail. I don't think that anything weird is going to happen. I think it's mostly going to go as we expect. What I think is more important is specifically what is going to happen after Wano, and more specifically how the ending of the storyline of Wano is going to, kind of connect with the future of One Piece, and specifically going towards the final saga and ending the series. And I think the very important thing to keep in mind is that it's been often emphasized across this entire arc, and even before it, that something big has happened out there in the world. Wano is an isolated country. We don't know what happens outside, and the outside doesn't usually know what happens inside. And because of that, from the perspective of the Straw Hats, we haven't heard much of what has happened. Now, throughout, of course, through certain chapters, we have seen some of the things that have happened in the outside world, but only very little. And we don't really know what the bigger strokes of that are. But at the very least, what we've been told is that there's been a very big sense of imbalance. And I think this is particularly how that will tie with the current story in Wano, because, think about it. The One Piece world is defined by what we refer to as the three powers. We got the Shichibukai, we got the Yonko, and then we got the Marines, which are, the world government. The Shichibukai have been abolished, so they're no more. So what happens if now we take out the Yonko? Shanks and Blackbeard will still be around unless something happened to Shanks or whatever. But with Kaido and Big Mom out of the picture, the system will potentially shift a lot, and the Yonko system as we knew it may be no more. So if we take out these two systems, the Yonko and the Shichibukai, we only have left the world government, and that causes a great sense of imbalance, because we've often been told across the series that these balance of these three powers needs to be maintained. It's something that the Gorosei always emphasized, but now I think things are going to be very different. And I think this ties with the idea that the Gorosei talked about, this purge, this cleansing of the world, and how, they've tried to maintain a certain type of status quo across many years, across many centuries, but it sort of feels like the world government is kind of coming to a point where, we don't want to hold this status quo anymore. It's time to change things. For example, in Water 7, Lucci mentioned that, the ancient weapons, the world government always tried to hide them, but now they want to take them. They want to take the weapons and use them to help end the pirate era. But, obviously, as Iceberg said, it's not something that, it's foolish to give these weapons to the world government, because obviously they're not going to use them for good. Obviously, if you give someone that much power, any human is going to just create this imbalance of power that may bring the world to ruin. And I think that in itself is something that is being set up for the final conflict of the series. I think that, Imu and the Gorosei, or just the very top of the world government, which is probably Imu-sama, are trying to do something, are probably trying to start a war or a cleansing that might quite literally spell the end of the world as we know it, or at least a very different rule from what we've known so far with the world government. And I think that specifically is going to be one of the driving forces with the final saga. And in that regard is, what I think is that once Wano ends, and once Luffy defeats Kaido, and I personally believe that Law and Kid will also beat Big Mom, and with that worst trio of the supernovas just sort of changing that system of the Yonko, that is going to tie with all the events that we've seen in the outside world, and that is going to mark a very, very big difference in the One Piece world. And as Oda himself said in the SBS, once the Straw Hats leave Wano, a certain set of events across the world will just kind of roll as a domino and will lead to what he called the biggest conflict, the biggest war in the entire series. And much like in the same way that the whole storyline, for example, with Ace and Blackbeard slowly set up the Marineford War across all of the pre-timescape, I think the Reverie and many of those elements also are setting up this bigger conflict, but that is also tying directly with the story we're seeing right now with Wano, and I think that all of it is going to come together. And I feel that quite simply, Oda has so many plot points in mind that are all going to converge into this final saga. And in that regard, I honestly cannot wait to see what Oda has in mind for the final saga, which I confidently feel is probably going to be starting this 2022.
Oh, man. I'm going to be honest, Alter, I was not expecting all of that. That was a great answer, bro. Really, really appreciate you went into a lot of details. I agree with you too. I think something that's very important and why I included it in the question is the post Wano stuff. I think that although, you know, there have been some speculations and, well, I guess I should say theories on how Wano's ending could be different than the writing that's on the wall. I'm very much in the same boat as you. I think it's, you know, pretty clear what's going to happen in the Kaido Luffy fight and things of that nature. But I think what's important is how we streamline is the final saga, of course, coming from the end of Wano. So that was an awesome answer. Ultra, thank you so much for giving me that very specific answer. I know we're on a time constraint here, but you got everything out in the time limit, so I really appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you
for sure, man. Everyone that's watching this, if you liked Alter's response, make sure you show him some love in the comments. His links will be in the description as well, so you can check his channel out. He has a lot of awesome theories he's been putting out recently. I've been watching a lot of them, so make sure you go check out that.
You.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. I've been watching you for a while, man. Ever since I started doing One Piece YouTube, I had specific people that I watched a ton because I really love to dive into the theories and things like that. So make sure you guys check Alter out, of course. And thank you so much for being here, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, bro.
Thank you.